Algebra 1 Study Guide, Unit 6 Study Guide, number 6, the last three, so D, E, and F, solving by elimination. So remember, we're looking for opposites for either our X coefficients or our Y coefficients. So on this first system, if we look at our X coefficients, we just have a 1 and a -5, so they're not the same or opposite, and then with the Y's, we have 3 and 4. So I ask, what could I multiply by to get opposites? Well, with my X values, I notice that if I multiply my top equation by +5, then I would have opposites. So that's what I'm going to do. I can multiply one or both equations by values, and those values would not have to be the same. But in this case, if I just multiply this first equation by 5, we have to multiply everything by 5, then I'll have opposites. I bring down my second equation just as I see it. And now we've got a system that we can add. I'm going to put my plus sign over to the right because I'm out of space. So my x's, if I add them, 5x plus a -5x will eliminate. That's what I want to have happen. 15y plus 4y, that's 19y. 5 minus 24 will give me a -19. And I divide both sides by 19. So y equals -1. Now I take that value from y and I plug it into either one of my original equations. So I'm going to plug it into that first equation. I like just to draw an arrow so that I don't get lost in what equation I'm plugging it into. So x plus 3 times -1 equals 1. So x minus 3 equals 1. X equals, if you add your 3 to both sides, you'll get 4. So I'm going to write just next to this system up above the solution. So these two lines, if we graphed them, would cross at the point 4, 1. That's a weird looking 4. All right, now let's look at this second system. I'm going to give myself a little space. So I look at my X coefficients. I notice these numbers are different. I look at my Y coefficients. They are also different. And ask myself, what could I multiply one or both equations by to get opposites? Well, I notice that if I multiply my second equation by -4, then I will get a +4y. And you know what? I'm going to put that out front so it's really clear to us that we're multiplying. So I bring down my first equation. I don't do anything to it. And then I multiply by -4, so I'm going to distribute that. So I get -12x plus 4y, and now I've got opposites with my y coefficients, and that's what I want, minus, I always get this wrong, 4 times 13, it's a 52, -52. So now I'm ready to add these two equations to eliminate my y's. So 7x's minus 12x's is -5. My y's will eliminate. 32 minus 52 will give me -20. Divide both sides by -5, so x equals 4. So we eliminated the y's, and now solve for x. Take this, plug it into either one of the originals. I'm going to plug it into that second equation. So I will get 3 times 4 minus y equals 13. So 12 minus y equals 13. Subtract your 12 from both sides. -y equals 1, and then just divide both sides by that -1. So y will equal 1 divided by -1 is -1. And then I'm going to write that point just up by the system. So it is crossing at 4, negative 1. And I notice that over here, my solution, I forgot the negative for my y value. So I'm going to go fix that. It's kind of funny that those systems, it's a coincidence really, have the same solution. Okay, now the last one. So we're getting ready to eliminate. We look at our x's, we've got 3x and 7. We look at our y's, we have 2 and 7. So I'm going to need to multiply both equations by something to get these numbers to be opposites. So I think I'm going to focus on the y's, because if I multiply, I think of 2 and 7, and they have a common multiple of 14. So if I multiply the top equation by, so if we multiply this top one by 7, and then this bottom one by 2, we will get opposites for our y coefficients. So I have 21x minus 14y equals 21, negative 14x plus 14y equals 14. Then I go ahead and add. So 21 minus 14, or plus a negative 14, is positive 7. My y's will eliminate, which is what I wanted. And then 21 and 14 is 35. Divide both sides by 7, so x will equal 5. Now let's take what 5 is, plug it into either one of the originals. So I'm going to plug it into that top equation, just because the math looks easier to me. But, that's a point where you can choose. So we've got the first equation is 3 times what x is, and x is 5. And then we just finished the equation, minus 2y equals 3. 15 minus 2y equals 3. Subtract your 15 from both sides. So negative 2y equals negative 12. Divide both sides by negative 2. So y equals 6. And then I'm going to write my solution just right up here by this system. So these two lines will cross at the point 5, 6.